with that down, let's move on and talk about this, shall we? You guys will remember that Jeff Snyder broke a story a little bit ago that Disney and Marvel were looking at finally doing the right thing and recasting T'Challa. Now, we still haven't gotten any confirmation from the studio that that's true or anything like that, but that is the story that broke. So a lot of people have asked about, well, then who should be that? Obviously, who should it be? A lot of people said Michael B. Jordan. Guys, if there's anybody that shouldn't play the role, it's Michael B. Jordan. I love Michael B. Jordan, but for obvious reasons, that's a dumb idea. So who would be a good role for this? Now, normally on the show, when people ask me, John, what do you think about this actor playing this role? You know me, I don't like to take X actor and X role things because all I really care about is, do you get a great actor? But once in a while, like we did last year about some other roles, some people then ask me, which I did have, somebody said, well, who do you think are good actors that you'd be okay with playing the role? Don't just name one. Just, you said there could be a bunch. Who are some of the actors, John, that you think would fill that role well, that you think are good performers and good actors and could be a fit? I'm like, all right, let me think about it for a minute. So I gave some thought to it, and I've come up with 5 names. There are definitely more than 5. There are definitely more than 5. But these are the first 5 that kind of jumped to mind to me, that I think any one of these guys I would be happy with if they announced this person tomorrow. Like, I never believe there's like one person to play a role or anything like that. And you could name any one of 20 other actors and I'll just go, as long as they're a good actor. But for me, these are the ones that jump out to me. Now, a couple of these are going to be kind of obvious that I think you're going to hear a lot of people pick. 1 or 2 of them might be a little bit of curveballs for you, but I actually really believe in. All right. So with that being said, let's get into it here and these are in no particular order, okay? I'm not counting them down. The first one is not at least preferable to the last one. I'm just giving them in just a random order here, okay? All right. One of the names that I think if they announced this person was going to play a recasted T'Challa tomorrow, that I'd be very happy with the selection, is Aldis Hodge. We've brought up Aldis Hodge before in these discussions. He's terrific. He's fabulous in that new show he's doing, Cross. His performance in One Night in Miami, which a lot of people forget who was in that, was great. He was excellent in Invisible Man. And he was one of the truly redeeming things about Black Adam.
Oh, so good in that.
He was so good in Black Adam.
He and Pierce Brosnan.
Yes, both of them. I kind of wish they had just done a movie about them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of would have bought into that.
I would have liked that.
But at any rate, he's a tremendous actor. He has all the physicality to play. Because listen, a bit of an imposing physical presence that Chadwick Boseman brought to that role has got to be a little bit of a part of it. He's got a great intensity about him. And yeah, I just think he would be, again, I'm not saying he's the guy to play it, but he's one of the guys who I think he would be great in the role of a recasted T'Challa. All right. Let's go on to the next one. And I think this is one that might surprise some people. But I actually think he'd be very good if you can look past the thing he's most known for. Regé-Jean Page.
Oh.
From Bridgerton, most notably from Bridgerton, but also fantastic in that terrible movie, The Gray Man. A lot of people forget he was in that because of the other stars of it. He was wonderful in that absolutely delightful Dungeons and Dragons movie. And by the way, he's got a really good role in the upcoming Black Bag that he stars in with Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. Mm-hmm. He is a classically trained actor, great physicality. Just from the stuff that we've seen from Black Bag, which they showed us previews of and stuff like that, he carries a wonderful intensity about him. Now, again, I know this is going to be the exact same thing. Actually, I can already see it in the live chat. This is going to be the exact same things of all those people who cried, "Twilight boy," when they cast Robert Pattinson because all they knew him from was Twilight. Mm-hmm. We don't want Twilight as Batman. Well, see how that turned out.
Clearly, they never saw the Rover.
Yes. Or a million different things that he did in the meantime, right? I think when a lot of people think of Jean Page, they're only thinking about Bridgerton, and that's a girl's show.
Girly.
He's a classically trained stage actor. He can bring intensity. They're putting him in films
Picture boy.
alongside of Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender, and he's got the physical attributes and can do great intensity. So cry all you want. He'd be a pretty damn good Black Panther. And if you don't recognize it, that's on you. But he would be pretty good. Again, do I think he's the guy? No. But he's one of the names that if they announce tomorrow, I'd be like, he's going to show him. Just like Robert Pattinson showed him. He's going to show him. So we'll see how that turns out. All right. My third pick, again, not in any particular order, and this is, I have to agree with the popular opinion. This is the one that seems to be the most popular one, John David Washington. You know, I first came across John David Washington in Ballers. Silly little show. I thought it was kind of enjoyable. I liked Ballers, actually. So that's where I really first came across him. He was great, as confusing as the movie was. He was great in Tenet. Speaking of Twilight Boy. Then he also did The Creator, which I thought The Creator was really good, and he carried that film. He absolutely carried it. But most impressively was his performance in BlacKkKlansman.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of my top, I think it was my number 2 favorite movie of that year. And he was a big part of the reason why. He was so good in that. He's got listen, I'm not saying he's his dad, okay? I'm not saying he's as good as Denzel, but he's got Denzel's intensity. He is on his way to being his father's level of talent. He's not there yet, but he's on his way. And the fact that they've already confirmed that Denzel himself is going to be in the next Black Panther. I mean, you put all these tremendous talent, like great on screen, all that kind of stuff, and his dad's going to be in it. It just seems like kind of a no-brainer. I think John David Washington would be one of those really good choices if he were to be chosen. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, CookUnity. You ever feel like so much of your day revolves around planning meals or preparing food, especially when you're trying to eat healthier? I know we all do, but that all changes when you discover CookUnity. Now you can enjoy vibrant, chef-crafted meals without spending hours in the kitchen. It's freed up so much of my time and energy to focus on my other goals. CookUnity partners with award-winning chefs, the same chefs you see on TV and those 5-star restaurants, to create small batch meals just for you. These meals are made with fresh, local, in-season ingredients delivered right to your door. And here's the best part. They arrive fresh, not frozen, and all it takes is a few minutes to heat them up. I recently tried their Mom's Sunday Sauce Rigatoni, and it was incredible. Plus, knowing that I'm supporting local chefs and sustainable suppliers makes every bite even better. Whether you want variety, convenience, or just better food, CookUnity has it all. Reset your routine with convenient, mouth-watering meals crafted with local ingredients by award-winning chefs. Go to cookunity.com/Campea or enter the code Campea before checkout for 50% off your first week. That's 50% off your first week by using the code Campea or by going to cookunity.com/Campea. All right. Here's a fourth one for you. And I've mentioned this one before, so it won't surprise you. John Boyega. Listen, John Boyega kind of burst onto the scenes with Attack the Block. And unlike, say, a John Heder in Napoleon Dynamite, it turned out he wasn't just a one-trick pony. He later went on to be able to show in stuff like They Cloned Tyrone. So good in that. In stuff like Woman King. Stuff like Detroit. In stuff, and then of course he did his Star Wars stuff, but the Star Wars thing is what most people will know him for. But this guy has shown, Boyega has shown time and time again that he's got it. He's got it. He wasn't just a one-trick pony in this one thing or whatever. He's got it. If you haven't seen Detroit, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's absolutely fabulous. He's great, and he could totally bring it. Now, will some studios want to work with him? He's been known to be a little bit of a problem to work with. I'm not sure. I'll leave that up to them. All I know is when it's time for him to get in front of a camera and act his ass off, he can do it. And I think he would be a pretty good choice. All right. The fifth one that I'm going to mention is I don't think is going to be on anybody's list.
I'm not even sure who this is, to be honest.
As a matter of fact, I was going to say, when I read this name, I bet you a lot of you are going to pull your best Jaimon Hansu and go, who? Charles Michael Davis. Now,
Oh,
yes,
he was on Vampire Diaries.
he was, and he was one of the main lead stars in the spin-off series, The Originals, which he was great. And he also did a stint as one of the sexy doctors on Grey's Anatomy. And he's been in a bunch of different things. He's currently, what's the show? He's doing a show currently that he's been on for a couple of seasons. One of the NCIS shows, I think. Anyway, that aside, he's great. He's got a charm and a suaveness about him. He's got all the physicality that you'd want in a guy who's going to be able to come in and play T'Challa. And again, he's got a wonderful screen presence, and he's got one of those on-screen charisma-based things that just instantly wins you over. Like when he's on screen and starts talking to you, you're glued. You're absolutely glued. He's got that natural charm, that natural ability to do that. He's got the physicality. He can be dead serious and intimidating if he wants to be, because he played a vampire, so he's got that little bit of that going for him. But he can also play comedic timing really well. And I wanted to make sure at least one name on this list. I wanted to make sure a couple of names on the list were kind of out in left field, but I wanted one that I would go, I bet nobody thought of this guy, but if they announced him tomorrow, I'd be all down for it. And that guy for me is Charles Michael Davis. So, to highlight, I don't think there's any one person to come in and do it. I don't think it can only be one person. I believe there's probably 20 or 30 actors else that you guys can mention. And I'd go, you know what? That would be a good name too. But these are the 5 that I got that first come to mind for me when I think about who could fill in these shoes. That may not be as good as Chadwick Boseman, but step in and carry the baton for him now that he can't. The names for me are Aldous Hodge, Roger-Jean Page, John David Washington, John Boyega, and Charles Michael Davis. Those are the names that I have. Maybe you guys got some other names that you'd like to throw in. Go ahead and use the tip link and send those in if you'd like. But anyway, Chris, I throw it over to you.
Yes.
What do you think about the names that I have? Do any stand out to you? Do you have some other names that maybe I haven't thought about? What do you think?
We have a few similarities. Because I've got John Boyega on mine, Aldous Hodge as well, and John David Washington. Supposedly, the rumor is that John Boyega has turned down reading for T'Challa. I don't know if there's any validity to that. That's just something the internet is saying. Same with another one of my picks, which is Damson Idris from Snowfall. It's an American crime drama set in the 90s. I think
I've seen that name thrown around before too.
Yeah, I know the chat's going crazy about that one too. The one I really want though, and follow me on this
Somebody
journey.
saying R-Truth. Hey, sorry.
The one I really, really want is Toheeb Jamo, Sam Obasanya from Ted Lasso.
Oh.
I think he could be wonderful in this. So many people know him as Sam. That's his big breakout role. But that guy has been working. He did a show on Amazon, The Power, where he was playing a journalist. He has been cutting his teeth in London's theater scene. He just acted opposite Ian McKellen in a Shakespeare show. The guy has chops. And I think if he were allowed to really flex, he could do some really fabulous work.
Now I'm trying to, do you think he can, there's the physicality is part of it. Do you think he can beef up, bulk up
absolutely.
to get into that sort of thing?
He was already quite fit for Ted Lasso. And I mean, this is one of the things I think we all have to always remember when we talk about getting into Marvel shape. Chris Pratt did it, right?
Yeah.
When you get a Marvel trainer, all things are possible. And so somebody who is already in shape, who's already been able to handle very intense physical choreography of doing those football scenes, I think he'd be a really great catch for this.
I got one.
What's that?
I got one. He's gonna be playing Mr. Terrific in the Superman movie.
Ed
Gathey.
He's wonderful.
Who's also a Twilight boy.
And he was in
For All Mankind.
X-Men.
And For All Mankind.
Yep, he was the evolutionary guy.
Yeah. I can't remember his name at all. I'm
Darwin.
so sorry,
he was
Chad.
he was Darwin.
Yeah.
Darwin.
And killed off way too easily and quickly.
way too quick and easy.
Yeah, that would be my out of left field pick.
He's
he would have
good.
to bulk up a little bit too, and he would have to juggle between the two studios if he goes on as Mr. Terrific. But
I'm seeing a number of people in here throwing in Lakeith Stanfield, who
He's incredible.
oh yeah, he's great too.
I mean, I I love him in everything and anything he does. Like ever since, like I never noticed him before Atlanta, but ever since Atlanta, like even that garbage Western film he did on Netflix, I thought he was great in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just got all of it. He's fantastic. So anyway, guys, I'm sure there's a lot of names we could throw out there. I think any one of these, if they got announced tomorrow, I'd be like, yeah, that's a good one. So we'll see. Question is for you guys. What do you think? Do any of the names that I read off here or that Chris listed off jump out to you? Maybe there's some other names that you'd like to throw in there. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.